Moonshot AI just came out with Kimi 2.5, and you know I have to start testing it for authors.
K 2.5 is known as Visual Agentic Intelligence, and that means now Kimi can generate code from any design. Apparently, this new model can now release this agent swarm that's up to 100 agents, a massive ton of tool calls. I'm going to run this through my usual test of premise, outline, writing quality, and then we're going to test the agent swarm. We're going to test Kimi both on fiction and nonfiction at the same time. First test is premise. Most AIs can do a premise pretty well. It says, throw me a hard one, I'll dig deep. So let's give it a harder prompt than usual. Okay, here's our premise. First of all, it's thinking. Let's see what it's thinking about. I'll analyze the anatomy of best-selling thriller series. Think about how interesting this would be for research. You could pull out all the patterns of bestsellers on any genre and any type of book. There's agent, and then there's agent swarm. Massive search, long writing, batch task. We're going to have this agent swarm create an entire book. Here we're having an anatomy of a best-selling thriller series, a century of patterns. If you do nothing else with Kimi, do this for whatever you write.
If you want to maximize your use of Kimi K 2.5, go get my Kimi book blueprint. If you want all of my book blueprints and all of my books, get the AI author library. If you want to format your book, make websites, make book covers, get the asset suite. If you want everything, get the author. It's the best value. You can get all of that on my Ko-Fi. Links in the description.
Here's the actual premise. The Architect, a breakthrough spy thriller series, high concept log line. What if the world's most dangerous intelligence weapon wasn't a person, but the building they were trapped? We have our characters supporting book one. We even have a series. This hits every bestseller pattern. This is The Fugitive meets Cube meets Tinker Tailor, with a protagonist who weaponizes her own creative brilliance against the structures of power. It did a great job with the premise. So as far as the scorecard, A+, baby. I gave Kimi 2.5 a similar prompt for nonfiction, but this time I said, write the best productivity guide that has ever existed in human history. Here we go with the anatomy of bestseller productivity groups, all the patterns, the voice with the archetypes, the writing technique. The book introduces narrative productivity, treating your life as a living manuscript you are actively authoring. I'm going to give this a solid A+ for the content and the originality. Here is the back cover blurb for the spy thriller. The Architect, Book 1, The Concrete Cage. How do you escape a prison that knows your every move? Voss designed impossible buildings. Underground black sites where the architecture itself breaks prisoners. Shifting walls, biometric sensors, air ducts that whisper psychological triggers she engineered into the blueprints. That's actually very interesting. It's like the setting not only traps the characters into the story, but also it's a character. She built nightmares for the government. Then she tried to expose them. Now she wakes up 400 feet beneath the desert. The walls are closing in, literally. This is pretty good. Why this blurb? It's 99 commercial confidence. Hook pattern, 4-part structure. Look, this is great if you want to write your own back cover blurbs or query letters. This is all really helpful information. Let's check the nonfiction book and how the blurb did there. In this case, it also analyzed the most successful back cover blurb for productivity books. We have the living draft, time management as narrative architecture. Do you ever feel like you're not living your life? You're just editing it. That's a pretty good hook. You capture everything in productivity apps. You optimize your mornings. This is all very relatable. There's a nice table. How cool is this for whatever kind of book you're writing? A psychological ladder. I like that. Now we're testing Kimi K 2.5 on coming up with an outline for both the fiction and nonfiction book. I forgot to rate the blurbs. I'll give it an A+. Now for outlining, let's see, target 80,000 words across 40 chapters, around 2,000 words per chapter. It's pretty long for a thriller. So I'm just going to scroll through here. We have part 1, the cast, the scenes, and what happens in the scenes. Let's see if we have all the chapters. We're targeting 40 chapters, but it actually gave me 21. All right, thick middle, explosive end, structure. To me, this looks great. I'm going to give it an A+ for the outline. Let's check on the productivity book. Once again, we have 3 parts, 3-act narrative. The microstructure, curiosity gap titling, great. Here's the complete chapter outline. Each chapter looks like it's broken down into 3 parts. We have 75,000 words. That's actually pretty long for a nonfiction book. For outlining the nonfiction book, I'm going to say A+. I really like what I'm seeing. The next step is to test Kimi K 2.5 on writing quality. We're going to have it write the first chapter of the novel and the first chapter of the nonfiction book. Okay, we have the first chapter of the thriller novel written. I have read through a bit of it. There were a couple of paragraphs and sentences that I really like, so I want to point those out. Overall, I would give it about a B+. I think it's good, but I think it has some issues that we can improve either by ourselves or asking it to revise. For example, Crete was sweating. I like that as an opening line. I think it's compelling. I would want to read the next line. Not condensation, not the damp of a basement or the mist of a cold wall. This was alkali bleed, calcium hydroxide rising through the capillary structure of a fresh pore, carrying moisture and heat and the chemical memory of Portland cement, hydrating with water, creating calcium silicate. I knew this because I designed it. I like the hook. I like the POV and how we're getting to know the setting through the character's actions instead of just like an information dump. There is too much information in here. I mean, it goes into like we're a scientist. I don't think we have to know all that. So I would want to make this more readable. And that's an issue that I saw continuing down. But I like that we're getting short and long sentences. As you can see, just from looking at the structure, let's check the nonfiction book. Chapter 1, The Messy Middle. You are not behind. Again, I like the hook. I like the beginning. You are not behind. You are not broken, lazy, or constitutionally disorganized. You do not lack discipline, willpower, or the elusive grit that everyone else seems to have mastered during that motivational seminar you skipped. It's kind of funny, actually. You are not failing at life because you cannot seem to finish your to-do list, clear your inbox, or maintain a consistent morning routine involving ice baths and gratitude journaling. This is very relatable if you're in the productivity space. You are simply in the messy middle of Act 2, and the protagonist never looks good in Act 2. I think it's very relatable and a great way to start. My one concern is it might be too long. Let's dip down here and read just the ending. Most importantly, you will learn to recognize when you are in the messy middle and to trust it. Because the messy middle is not evidence that you are off track. It is evidence that the story has stakes, that the transformation is real, that you are finally the protagonist. This is not another productivity system. It is a new physics narrative. Turn the page. Act 2 is where it gets interesting. I like that. I think it's a great introduction. I'm going to give it A+. The next test is, can K 2.5 revise? And then we're going to test that agent swarm. We found some critical issues: density versus velocity, pacing, agreed, vocabulary alienation. That's what I was talking about. I think it really needed to fix that. Paragraph obesity. That's a funny way to say that. Here's the rewritten chapter 1, the sweat. Let's read just a little bit to see if it fixed anything. The concrete was sweating. Maya felt it against her cheek, damp, warm, alive, not cold like a basement wall, warm like skin, like something breathing. She opened her eyes and saw gray, nothing but gray. For 3 seconds, she thought she was blind. Then her eyes found the light. Strips of LED in the ceiling, recessed behind. Okay, definitely a lot less of those big vocabulary words, less details that we don't need. I'm going to give it A+ for revision on the thriller. Let's go with the productivity book. It's saying that I was correct. Of course, AIs say that you're correct a lot, no matter what you say. Line edited rewrite, chapter 1. The messy middle. You are not behind. It still starts with that. I like it. Definitely fixed the middle, so it's a lot shorter, a lot more direct and impactful and punchy. All right, so we have some bolded words to keep attention, and now we're teasing the storyboard method that gives the structural outline of the whole book. That's great for a first chapter. I'm going to give this A+ for revision. Now, we're going to test this visual capability to make a website, and then also we're going to test the agent swarm. By the way, here's the pricing for paying annually. It's $31 per month, or an astounding $159 per month. $15 per month will give you agent multitasking, but it's not going to give you this agent swarm, which is what I want to test. Monthly, it's even more expensive, so I'm not sure it's worth it, but I'm going to test this. Okay, we upgraded to the $39 per month subscription, and it looks like I have 40 agent calls. We're going to see if we can build a website around our thriller book and our productivity book. Okay, so here's what I did. I gave it this prompt, attached a bunch of images as inspiration, and let's see what it comes up with. We're using a virtual computer. This is just a test. This is not going to be a website that I put live. The agent came up with 9 different tasks: create the website, design the PRD, initialize the React project, generate the book cover image. I was really curious if it could come up with an image, and I didn't see an image option in the regular chat, but the agent is saying it's going to do that. So we'll see. Build a heroes section, build about the series section, build an AI disclosure section because I asked for that. Important to let people know that any content that's created largely with AI. Build newsletter sign up section, build footer, and deploy the website. For the nonfiction book, I'm just going to give it a prompt in the regular chat to create a website and give me the code and preview it if possible. I'm just going to see what it does with that. Let's head back over to the thriller and see if it is done. Nope, it's still working. For the nonfiction book, it looks like it actually finished the HTML file and I can preview it. The living draft. It didn't actually make the book cover. Let's click through. Physics of wrong physics. This is cool. It goes over the whole acronym about the author. I don't know why it went back to 2024. All right, so we have a website that's dynamic. We have the transparency and creation highlighted that this is with AI. Join the writer's room. I like that. We would just need the book cover uploaded here and make all the links work. Kimi 2.5 has finished the thriller novel website. It actually looks pretty good. I don't see a book cover. The images themselves are not good. We need a better book cover, but I do like how when I scroll over it, it moves. Up here, it says that we can actually edit the web page here. So we're definitely going to test that. Synopsis. This is all the way at the bottom. It created all of this stuff. This would all need to be connected with real links. Maybe give it a C+. I think with better book cover images, this would look a whole lot better. Let's see what this does. Annotate and select. Add a comment. What I want to see is, will it actually change these images and make them somewhat better? Add a comment. Let's add it to chat. Okay, Kimi says that it has updated my website. Let's check it out with the new book covers. Hopefully they're a lot better. Not much better, to be honest. It's different, but definitely not better. I would never use them for my actual book cover. So not great at the images. But the website itself, the design, the scrolling, the feel of it, I'll give it an A+ for the design, but for the book covers, terrible. Those, I think, failed completely. Now let's test the agent swarm. It's basically a 0 to bestseller in a single cycle or a bestseller in a box. It's going to release all of these different agents. We're going to paste the whole prompt in there. This is actually going to produce a different book. Let's release this agent. We're going to Kimi's computer. This little simple graphic is actually pretty cute. I'll orchestrate this ambitious multi-agent creative operation. Look at that, integration lead. Here are all the different agents. We've completed 8 specialized sub-agents for operation origin. Next is to deploy the novel architect and write this 35,000 word manuscript. It's taking quite a bit of time, but again, you can do other things while you wait for the swarm of agents to do its work. One cool thing I've figured out is you can go to each one of these agents that it created and you can read about what they are supposed to be doing. Look at all of this. This is a crazy amount of information and data. This is actually pretty insane. Mission status complete. All 8 agents executed in parallel. All deliverables are publication ready and commercially viable. All right, so here are all the files. Let's look through these. Here's the protocol, the novel architect. Here's the novel. It looks like it's formatted pretty well. Let's go all the way down to the end. We have quality integration checklist, long sequence, 30-day campaign. That's what we wanted. Manuscript final proofread. We need to read through that. Cover art finalized. Audio trailer mastered. Website code complete. Game fully tested. We're going to do that. Looks like we have this whole launch strategy here. TikTok vid posted. And it says the hook, the visual, the audio. Keep going. This is for tracking everything. Social expansion. So far, I'm giving it an A+, but let's see what else we have. This must be the game. All right, let's execute. Examine the punch card. Okay, this is like a story-based game. I was hoping for more of a visual game, but I didn't really tell it to do that. For this game, I'd probably give it a D at best because I don't like it. I'd rather have something visual where you can move around or do something fun. But it did create a game. Let's go to the submission package. Definitely interested in this. We have the query letter, comparable titles, agent list, so we can use that. Apparently that query letter for all of the agents, maybe with some personalization in there. Here's the agent lists, genres, comp hook, 4 to 8 weeks. Okay, so we have all of these people we could submit to. We definitely want to double check that, but this is cool. A+. Here's a synopsis, another version, pitch deck. Here's more comparable titles, a submission tracker. We could copy this into a Google Sheet or Excel. Follow-up date pending. Perfect. And here we even have emails. That's actually really cool. And here's the email template to follow up. Here's step-by-step what you should do. And here we have a tracker. This is good. A+ for this. This is great. All right, here's the audio production package. This is for the audio drama and podcast campaign. It created the scripts that you can read or have somebody else read, voiceover. Here is the website. It has definitely interactive elements. So I think overall with the agent swarm, it's really cool. I'm going to give it a solid B. It did a great job. I think for a website and video game, it could have done better. It didn't give us a book cover. Overall, very impressed with this agent swarm. I think it has lots of possibilities for authors, fiction and nonfiction. I would actually like to see other AIs like Claude and Gemini and ChatGPT come out with more agent swarm capabilities, and I think they will. For
$39 per month. That's pretty steep. I don't know if it's quite worth that. If you want to check it out yourself, I'll leave a link to it in the description. I'm not an affiliate, I'm just testing this out. If you want to know how Kimi K2.5 compares to other AI models and other AI tools, watch this playlist. I'll see you there.